Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Long time no see, and I hope all of you are doing very well, and everyone of you who is watching my video right now is fine and is not suffering from any of the diseases and the pandemic that is going on. So since we are all at quarantine due to the COVID-19, so I had participated in the Owls Magical Readathon that is hosted by G on Book Roast. I will leave the announcement video down below for you guys to check out. So Owls Readathon is a readathon that is simultaneously goes on with the ordinary wizarding level examinations that goes on in Hogwarts and Harry Potter, and she prepares a list of careers which a person can pursue, and each pursue has a number of subjects, and each subject corresponds to different number of prompts that a person can take up the books of. So well, I participated here, and the readathon goes on from 1st April to 30th April, and the day I'm filming this is 23rd, and I completed it yesterday on 22nd. So I completed 8 days before, so that's something really good about it because I had lots of time, and I recently started working from home because till Sunday I was basically doing nothing. I was sitting at home. From Sunday I started, so I had lots of time and I completed all of the prompts apart from the prompts that were inside my career. So there were different careers like Metal Charmer, Hogwarts Professor, Horror, stuff like that. I had chosen Seer. A Seer is a person who can look into the future and predict the future and give prophecies like Professor Trelawney. So there are a lot of prompts that were there. There were 12 prompts in the entire examination, but Seer had only ancient runes, astronomy, and divination. But after 3 books, I was like, I need to complete the entire thing because all of the prompts were very much feasible. I had books at home, physical copies, and as you know, I don't like reading much of Kindle, so I thought, why not complete it entirely? So apart from these 3, I will be also talking about all the prompts that were there and that I had completed yesterday. So the first prompt that she had given was ancient runes. For ancient runes, it was heart rune, heart on the cover or in the title of the book. So the first book that I had chosen for this is Heartless by Marissa Meyer. Now this is an Alice in Wonderland retelling, and it took me a lot of days to complete this. I was reading 2 to 3 books simultaneously, so I could complete the other books faster than this one. This book is a really good book. I gave it a 4 stars on 5 on Goodreads, but this is an Alice in Wonderland retelling, so I don't need to tell you anything regarding that. It features the Queen of Hearts and what happened before she became the Queen of Hearts. So basically it is about Catherine, who is the Queen of Hearts, who wants to open a bakery, but she's a member of the gentry, so she cannot do that, and something really bad happens in the Kingdom of Hearts, and there is a mysterious person who comes and she falls in love with the person, and she is courted by the king, but she does not want to marry the king. So there's a lot of hodgepodge which goes on, and eventually what happens that she becomes this Queen of Hearts who is very cold and stone-hearted and who doesn't give a damn about anything in the world. So it's a really good book. It's a long book. It's 450 pages, and the font isn't very big. The font is also very small, but it took me a little bit of time to understand the world that Marissa Meyer had attempted to create, and she has done wonders. After reading this book, I really feel like rereading Alice in Wonderland. The next thing that she had was astronomy, that is night classes. Read majority of this book when it's dark outside. So basically what happened is I had a trilogy that I wanted to complete. So I picked up To All the Boys I Loved Before by Jenny Han. Now this trilogy was given to me on Valentine's Day, so I thought, why not read it? So this features Lara Jean, who is a Korean American living in Virginia. Now her mother had passed away, and she lives with her elder sister and younger sister, and basically to like the number of boys she come across in her life and she writes a love letter and she keeps it in a secret box that she has, and one day surprisingly all the letters just go off. Somebody posts the letters and people come to know about it, and what happens after that in Lara Jean's life. This is basically the trilogy all about that. It's a wonderful trilogy. duology. It was very cute, and I finished. There were 3 books. I finished them in 3 days, like one day, one book. It was so easy. It's a very fast read. The first book is a little long, but the other twos are like medium size. The next one is Arthmancy, magical qualities of number 2, balance or opposites. Read something outside your favorite genre. Now, my favorite genre is historical fiction or historical fantasy, but had to read something that is not historical fiction or not historical fantasy. So I thought I would read a non-fiction book because that's basically something I hate absolutely. But then I decided that I don't have any such non-fiction book that I really want to complete for this TBR. So I picked up the second book of this To All the Boys I Loved Before, that's P.S. I Still Love You by Jenny Han. This is the second book, and since it's a contemporary romance, that is something that is not my favorite absolutely. So I picked up this book. So there goes the third prompt. Then was Care of Magical Creatures, Hippogriffs or Creature with a Beak on the cover. Now, hippogriffs, if you have seen Prisoner of Azkaban, it's a mixture of an eagle and a horse, and it has wings and stuff like that. So I had to read a book which has a creature with a beak on the cover, so I chose Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I'm a little behind in reading Leigh Bardugo's books, so this is basically the duology after the Shadow and Bone trilogy. I did not read the Shadow and Bone trilogy, but still I could read Six of Crows, so that is one thing which is very good. It took me some time to get into the book and the world because I hadn't read the first trilogy, so it became a little difficult for me. So I will not explain you the book. I'll just read what is written behind the book because it is so fascinating. So it's written: a convict with a thirst for revenge, a sharpshooter who can't walk away from a wager, a runaway with a privileged past, a spy known as the Wraith, a heartrender using her magic to survive the slums, a thief with a gift for unlikely escapes. So basically, this book revolves in the Grisha Wars. Like the universe of us, they have a Grisha Wars. So basically, there are people called Grisha who are people with magical abilities of different kinds. There are healers, there are heartrenders, there are fabricators who can mold fabrics and metals and stuff like that. So here in this duology, what happens is a particular weed or particular herb is found called Jurda Parem, that if ingested into the bodies of Grisha, their powers basically accelerate and they become addicted to it, and they can do anything after that, like they become invincible. So basically, these 6 people, 6 of crows, these 6 people are appointed by by a particular merchant, and he like tells them that I will give you a lot of money if you can capture the person who makes Jurda Parem and bring him to me. So basically, the first book revolves around the heist and the quest that they are in. I absolutely loved the book. It took me a while to understand the world because obviously I did not read the trilogy, so it was becoming difficult for me to understand. But gradually, I fell in love with the book. It is so wonderful. I'm really looking forward to reading the second book. All the characters are so well developed. Each is morally grey, which is the best thing about characters, because no character can be perfect, like be a hero or an anti-hero, because all these characters are so good, especially the protagonist, Casbreaker. You will fall in love with this person. I really hope this also becomes a TV series, just like Shadow and Bone is becoming. The next I had was Defense Against the Dark Arts, and for that, the prompt is Grindylows or books set at sea or coast. So basically, Grindylows are creatures that you see in the Goblet of Fire. They are kind of mer people. So here I had to read a book set at sea or coast, and for that I had chosen A Long Petal of the Sea by Isabel Allende. Now this book is a true recounting of the Spanish Civil War, the immigration of Spanish people from Spain to Chile, and then the Chilean Revolution, and then from Chile to Venezuela. It's basically a hodgepodge of historical fiction. This book took me a long time. I gave it a really long time. Honestly, I liked the parts second and third more than the first part. The first part was strictly about Spanish Civil War, and I was really interested to learn more. And since this is a true account, it becomes more interesting. But the translation wasn't up to the mark, according to me. Isabel Allende is a really good writer, I've heard, and this book is basically written in Spanish and then translated. It released this year itself, I think in the month of January or February. But I was really looking forward to reading this book, and it's so beautiful. As you can see, there are golden waves on blue cover, and there is a huge chunk which is set at sea when they go from Spain to all the way to Chile. So that entire thing is on sea, so I chose the book along this book. And this also features Pablo Neruda. I was really looking forward to reading the book, and I was so satisfied by the ending. I really liked the ending, because this book revolves around this person called Victor, who was a doctor in the Spanish Civil War, and what happens in his life afterwards, and how things changed for immigrants and stuff like that. But the translation was not very good, and I really did not enjoy the first part, and for that I gave it a 3 stars. Otherwise, this book is commendable, and I really recommend this book to anyone who is a fan of historical fiction or wants to read something other than Second World War, because usually the historical fiction genre is filled with books of Second World War. We don't get such books, so I highly recommend this book. The next I have is Charms or Lumos Maxima. For that we had to read a book with white cover, and for that I read American Dirt by Janine Cummins. Now this is also an immigration book. This is an immigration book about Mexicans who immigrate to USA. So this features a woman called Lydia who owns a bookstore, and her husband Sebastian is a journalist who only writes about the narcos and stuff like that. So she becomes friends with this drug dealer called Javier, and suddenly things start to change drastically after her husband writes on an article in the newspaper featuring Javier. So when Javier becomes friends with Lydia, he does not disclose the fact that he is a narco leader in fact, and he's ruthless and stuff like that. And suddenly on Lydia's niece's quinceanera, I don't know what quinceanera is, and I did not even look up, so that's something I don't know. So quinceanera, Javier's people come and murder her entire family. Only Lydia and Luca survive. Luca is her son of 8 years old, and they are on the run from Acapulco, I think that's how it is called, that is a sea coast, I think, sea coast vacation place, to all the way to US Arizona. So this is their journey. It's a very long book. It's almost 500 pages, and it's huge. You can see it's huge. But I took this one also, I took a really long time reading it, but the ending was not very satisfactory again. There were a lot of things which were stretched, and I really think they could have been shortened and stuff. And each chapter is about 13, 14, 15, 16 pages long sometimes. So that was really irritating, because sometimes there were the author was delving so much into the emotions that was clearly unnecessary, because we understand what the immigrants are going through. They are sad, they are suffering, I got it, but you don't need to repeat it again and again and again, because that was like hammering inside my mind, which was irritating. So I gave it 3 stars. I actually wanted to give it 2, but then I thought no, that would be unfair, because she has put in a lot of research in the book, so I gave it a 3 stars. The next book that I have to talk about is Divination, that is Third Eye, that is assign numbers to your TBR, to be read books, and use a random number generator to pick your read. So I assigned my entire TBR, and the number that came out was 53. So 53 was Always and Forever Lara Jean by Jenny Han. Now since this was the last book, I chose the first 2 books appropriately for any of the whichever things prompts it would have satisfied. So finally, I read Always and Forever Lara Jean by Jenny Han. I pretty much liked the ending. It was nice, it was swift, and this was, I think, the shortest of all the three books. And this was really cute trilogy. I might read it. Actually, I might see the movie and then I might read it again. I've heard really good things about the movie as well, so I'm really looking forward to downloading and reading them, watching them too. Sorry, not reading. The next I have is Herbology Mimbulus Mimbletonia, which is a plant in herbology. That is title which starts with the letter M, M for Monday. So I read My Heart and Other Black Holes by Jasmine Varga. Awesome book, and I highly recommend this book. So this book revolves around Azel and Roman. So basically Azel's father was, he was convicted for a murder, and everybody looks at Azel, and she's an immigrant, so everybody looks at her and feels that something is really wrong with her. She might also turn out to be a criminal just like her father. So she is going through a lot of emotions and she wants to end her life. On the other side, we see Roman, who accidentally murders hers. Actually, not murders, yeah, something happens to his sister and she dies. And he also wants to end his life so that he can join his sister in death. So basically, these two people meet on a platform where they can choose suicide partners and die on the same day. But they meet each other and things happen. And this book and I was really intrigued by whatever the blurb was. So this book basically deals with a lot of teenage drama, so you have to be aware of that before I say. But this is one of the best mental health books after Turtles All the Way Down that I have read. Turtles All the Way Down deals with OCD and anxiety. This one deals with depression and anxiety. Each and every chapter was fascinating. It happens within a span of couple of days, and on 7th of April they've decided to kill each other. Not basically kill each other, like suicide with each other. So if that makes any sense. So basically this book was an amazing roller coaster ride of emotions and I loved it. There are certain I think organizations also where you can talk about suicide thoughts if you have, and depression and stuff, and there are resources also. This book was so good. I don't even have words to explain how good it is, because honestly it was beautiful, and the way mental health has been portrayed in this book, I highly recommend everyone to read this book, because this is one of the best books of mental health and underhyped books according to me that I've come across, and I highly recommend this book. The next we have is History of Magic, where we have to feature witch hunts, books featuring witch or wizard. So basically, I read this book yesterday. I completed it yesterday, and that is The Familiars by Stacey Hall. This is one of the books that is, again, I think according to me, is underhyped. It's amazing. It's a historical fiction, and the best thing about this historical fiction is it actually is based on a real witch hunt that took place in 1612 at Gawthorpe on Lancaster. So here we follow Fleetwood, who is the mistress of Gawthorpe Hall, and she is pregnant with her fourth child because her first three were miscarriages. So this time she has to give a birth, or something else will happen to her, something like that. Like there's this impending doom. So suddenly she comes across this girl who claims to be a midwife, and she is Alice Gray, and there's a bond, there's a connection that happens between Fleetwood and Alice, and she like tells her, fine, you can be my midwife, and she welcomes her to her home. But things go wrong, and there are a lot of people who are convicted for being witches, and Alice Gray, that is the midwife, is one of them. And Richard, Fleetwood's husband, and Fleetwood's mother Mary, and other people in the book, they all try to like keep Fleetwood away from Alice and stuff like that. But Fleetwood is like convinced that no, only Alice can save her and her child, because this time if she does not give birth, and in the birth bed she might die. So basically the story is all about that, and the witch trials and stuff like that. This book is a historically accurate book, because all the people who are mentioned in the book are real people. There's a historical note at the end. I did not know about this. This book was really released last year. And 1612, on August 1612, the Pendle Witches, yeah, the Pendle Witches stood trial in 1612. So this is all about that. And among so many people in the historically correct account, whatever happened was there were a lot of people who were convicted for being witches, but Alice Gray was the only one who was acquitted. She was said like, fine, don't pray to the devil, and she was left off, and nobody knows why. So this book basically revolves around that. It's awesome, and it's a duology. The second book has come out this year in January. I did not get my get an option to lay my hands upon it, but I thoroughly enjoyed this book. This is one of the most underhyped books that I have come across. Not a lot of people talk about it. It's so beautiful, it's so atmospheric. It just look at the cover, it's so pretty, and it's beautiful. The book is written so well. Historical fiction can be written so well. Oh my god. So I highly recommend this book. And this book is not about Second World War, so you might like it. It's about 17th century England, so the setting is beautiful. There are moors, meadows. It's just a beautiful book. I highly recommend this book. The next we come is Mughal Studies, a book from a perspective of a Mughal that is a contemporary. So for that I read Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. So this book revolves around Stevie Bell, who is sent to Ellingham Academy. Now Ellingham was this billionaire in the 20th century whose daughter and wife were kidnapped and murdered, and eventually even he was murdered. So Stevie Bell is a person who is expert in solving crimes, and she's basically has the mind of a criminologist, and she wants to work in the FBI and stuff like that. And Ellingham Academy is for extraordinary students, so she is enrolled as one. So she is basically going there to solve the cold case of who was this person who murdered the entire family and what happens thereafter. This book is pretty good. In the middle, something happens, and I just lost it. I got swayed away because it didn't make sense at all. There were a lot of relations which are suddenly forming, which didn't make sense at all again. But overall, this book was good. I gave it a 4 stars. It was a solid read. I'm reading the second book, The Vanishing Stair, and I will review it very soon as I finish this. And I think it's a good book, and I really like Maureen Johnson's writing, so I was happy that I picked it up. The next book is Potions Shrinking Solution. Read a book with less than 150 pages, and for that I read Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. This is a classic where this is written in German, and then this is the translated version. So this is basically 99 pages, and I completed it within an hour, I think. So basically this revolves around this person called Gregor Samsa, who suddenly wakes up one day and sees that he's transforming into this huge insect. And what happens thereafter? He's basically a traveling salesman, and a lot of things happen, and people are very skeptical. Even his own parents and sister like kind of disown him, but then things change at the end of the book, and it's a really nice read. It was a breezy read, and I really thought that was my pet shouting, please bear with me. So I really think that the delusion, this I don't even know how to explain this book, because this book was really nice and poignant. I enjoyed each and everything that happened in this book, especially the character changes and their characteristics. Like, even though Gregor Samsa's sister was so close to him, things started changing when he started transforming into this huge insect that is also visible on the cover. So I enjoyed this book, and I might read it again just for a second thing if I get anything like apart from what I'm understanding right now. And the last book is Transfiguration, that is Annie Meagher's lecture. For that we had to read a book or a series that includes shape-shifting. This was my favorite book of the entire lot, and that is Bobby Singer's Guide to Hunting by David Reed. This book is, obviously you can understand, it's based on Supernatural TV series. It is my favorite TV series, and this book features all kind of evils that are there in the world. It features shapeshifters, witches, Japanese shapeshifters called Ondins, a dragon-like thing on Japanese that I forgot the name what it was. It features vampires, it features mermaids, it features Greek goddess who is about to kill them, everything. It features everything that is there in Supernatural, and it's so much, it's so wonderful. It's written in the perspective of Bobby Singer, and the best thing was David Reed actually captured his voice and wrote it, and it was just awesome. The fascinating thing was that this book is not finished by Bobby Singer, it's finished by Dean. So it's finished by Dean Winchester, and here's a picture of them. Dean, Bobby, Sam, in case you don't know. So it was a wonderful read, and I enjoyed this book thoroughly. It has beautiful pictures also. It has pictures and illustrations. I will show you the illustration also. It also features demons and angels. It features everything actually. Here is an illustration. The illustrations are beautiful. It's just like his, if he had kept a diary, it would have looked like this. It's just awesome, and I highly recommend if you are interested in something spooky and stuff like that. And the best thing was, this book is scarier than the TV series. Like, the TV series is basically a thriller, but this was scary. It was darn scary. These initial moments, it was scary. So that's it. Those are the 12 books that I read for Owl's Magical Readathon, and I've successfully completed it, and I'm really happy. The nudes will start, I think, in the month of August. Do look out for G's announcement video for nudes in case you want to participate. This is her third year, and she put lots of effort in it, and it's just great. It's just great that I had utilized so much. So thank you so much for watching. Do not forget to like, comment and subscribe on my channel, and do not forget to hit the bell icon so that whenever I upload a video, you come to know about it. Bye bye, have a great day ahead, keep safe, wash your hands and stay indoors.